There have been a lot of games released over the years, some good and some bad. However, many are cancelled before they even make it to shelves for a variety of reasons, from money issues to quality concerns. Yet there are a few that looked really promising, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. 7 great looking games that sadly we'll never get to play. To begin with, Scalebound, a cancelled game that Xbox gamers are still a little sore over, considering development ceased only at the beginning of this year in January. Scalebound was being developed by Platinum Games, who made the likes of Bayonetta and a fantastic recently released Nier Automata. The game was an action role-playing game where you take control of a character named Drew, who also happens to be accompanied by a huge dragon named Fuban. Scalebound was a big exclusive from Microsoft and the Xbox One, dedicating time to showing the game at major events, such as E3 2014 where it was announced, as well as E3 2016 where they unveiled 4-player online co-op, only 6 months before it was officially cancelled. There may be some light at the end of the tunnel for those that were looking forward to the game, as recently Microsoft renewed the trademark. It doesn't necessarily mean the game will make a return, but the fact Microsoft have shown interest in maintaining it doesn't rule out the possibility. Next is Prey 2, a sequel to the original Prey that released back in 2006, and not to be confused with the reboot Prey we received earlier this year. Prey 2 was to be based around US Marshal turned bounty hunter Killian Samuels, where he'd hunt various different aliens on a planet known as Exodus, with the idea of up to 20 different types of gadgets at your disposal to efficiently get the job done however you liked. Trailers and gameplay presented to the public looked in great shape, showing many of the game's features along with impressive visuals. There was no doubt troubled development however, changing hands several times, from 3D Realms to Radar Group and finally ZeniMax Media, the parent company of Bethesda, although Human Head Studios remained the developers. Sadly, 8 years after its initial announcement, in 2014 Bethesda officially cancelled the game, stating they never really felt like it got where it needed to be. Although the Prey reboot was actually a rather enjoyable title, it's a real shame we never got this sequel, as it looked extremely good with an interesting concept. There's been numerous Star Wars titles since the franchise's birth, but in 2012 a new game was announced that had a lot of people excited, titled Star Wars 1313. Developed by LucasArts, the game was said to follow Boba Fett during his early adulthood, and was based in an underground area of the Coruscant known as Level 1313, hence the game's name. Gameplay shown looked really great, somewhat reminiscent of the incredible Uncharted series, featuring cover-based shooting mechanics and cinematic moments. So what happened? When Disney acquired Lucasfilm and therefore LucasArts, they made the decision to lay off the majority of its staff, with only 10 remaining, and ultimately shutting down all the projects they were working on, leaving the fantastic looking Star Wars 1313 as one of the casualties, and as of 2014, Disney chose not to renew the trademark. The cancellation hurts all the more as instead we got the likes of the microtransaction riddled Battlefront 2 that of course has caused a lot of controversy. The Legacy of Kain series almost got a new title, called Legacy of Kain Dead Son, under the development of Climax Studios, with a multiplayer component being created by Psyonix. Set in the far future from previous games, you would be placed in control of new protagonist Kain, a vampire but also a human called Asher, whose soul inhabits his body after he and his family were brutally murdered by Kain himself, that would no doubt have proved a unique dynamic. Dead Son featured a completely open world and a combat system akin to the Batman Arkham games or Shadow of Mordor. Funnily enough, it wouldn't be actually until after the game's cancellation that we would know of the game's existence or even see any gameplay, when a massive leak hit the internet via a NeoGAF post, detailing a lot of plot points and game features. A lot of fans expressed their displeasure at the cancellation, especially considering what was shown had a lot of potential for a great game. There have been extremely few good pirate related games released, however that was set to change as in E3 of 2009 a Pirates of the Caribbean game was announced, but it wasn't your typical run-of-the-mill movie licensed game. Set before the events of any of the films, the story was set to be completely original with a new cast of characters, meaning its scope was completely unrestricted. The game was confirmed to be cancelled in late 2010, 1 year shy of its intended release, after Disney Interactive Studios laid off most of the developers of Propaganda Games who were working on the title, with the remaining members helping to finish Tron Evolution that a second team at Propaganda were developing before finally completely closing. Thankfully we got Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag a few years later to fill the void of pirate games, turning out remarkably good and proving that had Armada of the Damned released, it could have been a success. Released in August of 2014, a demo would hit the PlayStation Store titled PT. Set in a house, you'd explore a small looping L-shaped corridor with various creepy events taking place as well as tasks to do in order to progress, and despite its simplicity, was one of the eeriest experiences out there. Upon completing the demo, you would be treated to a short trailer that unveils PT stands for Playable Teaser, and revealing a new Silent Hill game in development called Silent Hills, with a shot of the protagonist played by Norman Reedus that amassed a huge amount of hype. Being created by Kojima Productions, the whole project quickly went downhill as a result of the issues with Kojima and the publisher Konami, that would lead to his eventual exit from the company and the game's cancellation. Kojima has since gone on to develop a new game called Death Stranding, that although not a new Silent Hill game, is one of the most anticipated games out there since its announcement. Last but not least is Rainbow Six Patriots. Originally announced in 2011 with a pre-rendered trailer simulating gameplay, we got a shocking look at an act of terrorism most shooting games don't dare delve so close to. The team decided to release this trailer earlier than planned, as they had reason to believe someone was going to potentially leak the game's existence. Patriots was created with the 360 and PS3 in mind, but with the new generation fast approaching, Ubisoft decided to shift development to the new consoles. However, it wouldn't take long before the project was eventually scrapped altogether and started anew, as they said it simply wasn't working well. It's not all bad, however, as some of the work from Patriots went into Rainbow Six Siege, that has a very strong and active community of players even 2 years after its release. It's just a shame it didn't come with a story mode that Patriots was going to have a strong emphasis on. Which game in this video would you most have liked the opportunity to have played, and do you think these games were rightly cancelled? Let me know in the comments. That's it for today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content just like this. Click the thumbnail on the left or right for another of my videos. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you on the next video.